The MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Game Podcast Network is brought to you by Fantasy. Sign up with the promo code MLB SGPN. Get a $1,000 bonus credit. We're also about to Edge Boost. Get up to $750 per month cash rewards by using the Edge Boost link, edgeboost.bet, with the promo code SGPN. And welcome, everybody, to the MLB Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Game Podcast Network. The second episode of the day. Had a props episode earlier today. Time to get into the Saturday games for the card. I'm first episode, Scott Reichel, joined again by Dylan Rockford. Together, we're going to break down, once again, all 15 games on the Saturday card. Dylan, how's it going with you? A lot of day games going on in baseball. You a fan of the day games on Friday, or is it a little bit too much?
No, I actually love day baseball. It gives me something to watch while I'm at work and when I come home. But no, I actually like it. I think one or two games is good. When we're getting too much, then I think it could be a little too much. But it's good. Mets are winning. Home opener, I really wish I was there. But Athletics, they're winning as well. We got the over with the Detroit game as well. But yeah, it's been a very profitable Friday afternoon for me. How about yourself?
Yeah, I can't complain. I did the prop show earlier with Adam. I had Imanaga under strikeouts that got there. I know he was in a Walker Buehler fade mode, and that worked out well, as he did go under the 5. I went under the 15.5 outs, I think was the number, but he ended up going 5 innings. So overall, good start to the day. Hopefully we'll keep rolling on the remainder of the slate and into Saturday. I know you mentioned the A's are winning. A reminder that it's a snow game going on right now in Colorado. So if you wanted some snow baseball, they got you covered over there. Besides that, the Yankees are winning. They're up 3-0 right now with guys on base. We'll see what happens. But so far, the main story of the day has been Boston just scoring a bunch of runs as they are up 13-6. As Fetty did not have it today. But overall, decent amount of runs today. I know the Tigers did win on the run line.
How did Walker Buehler look?
Not very good, but he was better than Fetty.
Okay.
So I know Adam and I liked his under outs, and Buehler went 5 innings, 5 runs, 7 hits. So he didn't really do much. But Fetty went 3 innings, 6 runs. So I guess it's fine by comparison, but once again, not exactly the best showing by him. But either way, a point is a lot of runs so far. Hopefully we'll get some more. The Tigers did win by 3 runs. Sorry, White Sox, but after a fun start to the season, you're 2-5 again. And it looks like you're going to be in the middle of a long year. Anything else you want to add for just some of the games you've seen so far the past day or so?
Yeah, the only games I was really watching were the Tigers because I had the over. We got there very easily there. I'm watching the snow game right now. And to be honest, I didn't even realize it was snowing. I knew it was cold, but then when you said it, everything zoomed in a little bit and I started to see the flurries. So always cool to see a snow game in Colorado. I actually went and saw a game last year out in Coors Field. It's a very nice field. They just stink. But in the Mets, it's always nice to see the Mets win their home opener. So
yeah, you don't get many snow games. The occasional one actually does usually take place in Coors. Occasionally, maybe in like Detroit, maybe like some of these other places on the East Coast. But I think Coors is probably the most likely for a snow game, and we got one today. Yeah, so once again, looks pretty fun. We'll see how the remainder of the slate goes. But before we get into any of the actual games for the Saturday card, a reminder, 15 games. We got a lot to talk about. But before the actual promo, a reminder that Augusta is right around the corner, and SGPN's back with Splash Sports for the big contest for the Masters. Up to $30K in prizes and only $25 entry fee. Get in today at splashsports.com/SGPN. Tune into the Golf Gambling Podcast, the Steffi Smalls Show, and Bottom Line Bombs for all of your Masters picks. Starting off with the first game on the card, look at a matchup between... we'll start off with the White Sox and the Tigers. For this one, you have the White Sox, who are, once again, off of the loss to Detroit on Friday. For this one, the Tigers are massive favorites, minus 225 on the money line. For the actual over-under, you have the number being set at 7.5. For the minus 1.5 for Detroit, you have plus 105. You have Martin, though, going up against Olsen. Olsen was not good his first outing. Martin has pretty good stuff. The issue, though, is that he really does not go much length usually. Yeah. But he was able to go 6 innings and no runs against the Angels, and coincidentally did lose that game they ended up losing that game 3-2. But for the actual, once again, money line, big price for the Tigers. I understand it. Do I want to lay it? Not really. I'd probably go White Sox first 5. You have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, either White Sox, not White Sox, either Detroit first 5 minus a half, or I'd rather take a little half a unit on Detroit run line plus 115. I see they should win this game, but their bullpen kind of worries me. 5.66 ERA. But, the White Sox offense really hasn't been stellar the past few games either. They got a few runs today, but they've lost 3 straight right now. Tigers going home for the first time. They won today. Should give them a boost. And, I think we'll get a solid outing from Reese Olson. The Dodgers, first start, that's a very tough draw. So I think he'll have better success here against a very lackluster offense in the White Sox. So, yeah, I'm going to take a shot here, -1.5 at plus money for the Tigers.
Yeah, I didn't mind the first 5 under. For this one, with Olson and Martin going at it. I know Martin was good in his first outing. As you mentioned before, facing off against the Dodgers, not a great draw. I think Olson's okay. I know in the past, though, he had a bad record because he had gotten no run support, ever. So I don't mind the under for the first 5 in this one.
Are you more of a first 5 market guy, or do you like the full game, or it just depends on the game?
It varies. It really comes down to how much I trust the bullpen for the team. But I feel like I want the first 5 under because I don't really trust the White Sox bullpen, but I actually like Martin.
Yeah.
I think Martin's pretty good, at least for a guy on that rotation. So it kind of varies. Everything's kind of a case study, but I do like the first 5 markets quite a bit, typically. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm assuming you're more of a full game guy?
Yeah, I'm more of a full game kind of guy, especially if it's the same thing. If I do like the bullpens, I just think you get more bang for your buck, if I'm being honest. So, but yeah.
That's fair. But moving on to the next game, you have the Astros taking on the Twins. For this one, you have Arrighetti, palms are sweaty, Arrighetti pitching against Ober. For the actual money line here, you have the Twins being favored at -120. You have the Astros being at +100. I do see a +108, though, on FanDuel, and the over-under is at 7.5. Arrighetti was good in his first start, and Ober was not. Ober actually got shelled in his first outing. 2 2/3, 8 runs against the Cardinals. It was not good. First home start, though, of the season coming up. So once again, we'll see how he looks this time around. But we know the Astros won the first meeting this season, as it was a pretty low-scoring game, but Houston got the job done there as Brown was really, really good. For this one, though, I think I'm going to take Houston at plus money. I don't mind Arrighetti. Ober was not good at all in his first start. Yes, he is back home in this one. Houston has been better offensively on the road than at home over the last year or so. So I'm not exactly shocked Houston woke up a little bit in that first meeting in the series, but I'll go with Houston. I don't see much separating these teams, and I do think Arrighetti might be the better pitcher. You make the argument. They are pretty similar. I'll go with Arrighetti for the plus money. You have any thoughts?
Yeah, I like Astros here. I made them a -110 favorite, so you're getting +108. I'm seeing out there. I like that. I actually like the total. I'm going to take it over 7.5. My total came out to 7.9. Like you mentioned, we finally saw that offense for the Astros kind of turn things around here. They were actually able to score more than 3 runs. And now getting to face Bailey Ober, who you mentioned, he was just terrible in his first start versus the Cardinals. Couldn't even get past 3 innings. Meanwhile, Spencer Arrighetti, I do think he is the better pitcher of the two. He was solid against a good Mets lineup. I don't trust the bullpen for the Twins right now. The over has cashed in 3 of their last 5 games as well. It's going to be a very windy day in Minnesota, 13-mile-an-hour winds blowing out into center field as well. So I do think that will help push this total over 7.5.
Yeah, I don't mind that either. I think that based on how the lineup's been performing lately, I'm a little bit scared off of the total of the over in this one, just because of how Houston has really not done much offensively. But I understand where you're coming from on that one, especially after Ober gave up 8 runs by himself in his first start. So either way, I think there might be some value on Houston in that one. Moving on to the next game, you have the Padres against the Cubs, another game that actually finished already today, as the Cubs did win the first game 3-1 in the series. For this one, though, you have Boyd going up against Pivetta, 2 guys that give him no runs in their first start of the season. Cubs are -125. The Padres are +105. The over-under in this game is set at, I see a 7 available, but that's basically it, which means we're looking at probably a lot of wind blowing in Wrigley. Saw that today, and the game flew under because the wind was blowing in about 10 miles per hour, and you saw basically nothing happen over the course of the entire game. So both pitchers were good in the first outings. Boyd, though, was a little bit misleading because he ended up letting some guys get on base, but he was able to get himself out of trouble. But he ended up having 5 innings, 4 hits, and 3 walks. So 7 guys on base, not exactly ideal, but once again, he did get over the finish line for the actual no earned runs portion of his start. I'll ask you for this one, though. Pivetta was great his first start. I'm not the biggest Pivetta guy, but at the same point, I do recognize how good he was in the first start this season. Feels like a coin flip to me, so I guess I'm on the Padres plus money, but the total at 7, I get it's based on wind. I think it's a pass for me. I don't really want to back either guy with an under, So I guess I'm going San Diego plus the money.
Yeah, I tried to get cute today, and I took the over 6.5. I just thought it got too low, to be honest. And when they both scored one run in the first inning, I was like, okay, maybe we're gonna get some runs here. But I was looking at the weather while you were talking. Not terrible. It's only 9-mile-an-hour winds blowing in, so I understand why the number is that low. My total came out to 7.1, so it is around that number. So I agree. I mean, how do you not take the Padres here in this spot? I get that they're on the road. They did finally lose their first game today. But honestly, it makes me like them even more today that they'll bounce back, especially against why I think they do have the better pitcher. I'm like you. I'm not the biggest Pivetta fan, but he did look great in his first start against a Braves team who I think long-term is going to be a good offense. And for the Cubs, I really don't think they're anything to ride home about. Yeah, they got their offense going, but it was against an athletics team who, let's just be honest, they're not the same club as this Padre team. They have the best bullpen in the league right now, the Padres. They've looked fantastic, and the Cubs, they're not that good. So even if they do have it, I really don't trust them to do it long-term to hold this lead. So it didn't show in that series versus the Athletics, but I do think the Padres at plus money, I see plus 105. Yeah, I got to trust my numbers here. I made them a minus 116 favorite. So I'm going to take the Padres here.
Yeah, and I'm not going to overreact to the first game of the series because if I told you who would probably win a pitcher's duel between Imanaga and Vasquez, you're probably going to say Imanaga. So the Cubs use their ace, who pitch very well. We know Imanaga is very good, so I'm not going to overreact to the first game. I think you're going to see a pretty even pitcher's duel, but Boyd, once again, was not great despite the 0 earned runs because he let a bunch of guys get on base.
Yeah.
And against this Padres team, you can't really do that. So I'm with you. I'll go with San Diego. I don't mind the over at 6.5. I see 7 now, so there might be a pass for me. But yeah, I think we're on the same page for this one.
Yeah, total's a pass for me in this game.
Yeah, before I get into the remainder of the slate, I want to quickly remind everyone once again that we were brought to you by Edge Boost because they have the Premier's debit card for bettors. You could use the card to avoid being hassled by having your card denied at the Sportsbook DFS site. And a reminder, great cash reward deal. They have once again a bonus going on right now. We're going to earn up to $70 per month to catch rewards by using the Edge Boost card. Best part of credit check, display free. Sign up today though at edgeboost.bet with the promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by MyBookie because MyBookie.ag is the place to bet on every sport, including Crown College basketball games. They props in every game. You can also use it from a ton of locations, and you can also use crypto for letting fast payouts and easy deposits. A reminder, head to MyBookie.ag with the promo code SGPN for 100% deposit match up to 1K. It's MyBookie.ag, promo code SGPN. Welcome back, everyone, to the MLB Gambling Podcast. Finished going through the first couple games on the Saturday card. Time to move on into the next game. Looking at the Diamondbacks against the Nationals, I do see Bennett stopping by. He said he's a 3-year listener from Phoenix. Nice to see you in the live stream, but he is a Diamondbacks fan, so we're going to talk about it. Looking at the actual matchup here, Arizona is favored in this game, as you have Erod going up against Parker. For this one, you have the Diamondbacks at minus 135. You have Parker and the Nationals at plus 115. For the over-under, you have the line being set at 8.5. Now, Parker was actually really good his first start of the season against the Phillies. Then again, we know the Nationals bullpen stinks, so at the end of the day, every start could be wasted. But Erod was pitching for Arizona. He was not very good as he had a 5.06 ERA, gave up 3 runs and 2 home runs in 5 1/3 against the Cubs. Cubs offense, though, I think we'd agree is much better than this Nationals offense. You could argue that the Phillies offense and the Diamondbacks offense, though, are pretty comparable, if you want to make the argument. But Erod, since joining the Diamondbacks, has really not been that great. And you're looking at Parker, who's been pretty good at home for the last season or so, and he's an intriguing option. So I'm going to ask you for this one, do you want to lay 135 with Erod?
Yeah, this is not one of my most confident plays, but I am going to trust my numbers. They did make the D-backs a minus 145 favorite. Like you, I did think Mitchell Parker looked pretty good in his first start against a really good offense in the Phillies. The Nationals it's going to be a common theme this year. They just couldn't get him any run support, and I think that's going to be the problem here and for most of the season. Erod, I would agree he hasn't had the best career with Arizona, but I didn't think his start was that bad in his first start. And Nationals, they don't hit lefties all that well, under 200 on the year. The series versus the Blue Jays wasn't good for them. They didn't score more than 3 runs one game. Meanwhile, the D-backs, yeah, they lost that game where we both bet them, or at least I did with Kelly. But, they have a top 10 offense, and I think that they could score at will here. Even if Mitchell Parker throws well and have the lead, I don't trust that bullpen to keep the lead. So I do think the D-backs are the right side. I got it a little earlier in the day. I got it at minus 126. Minus 135, I still like it, but money is coming in on them, and I think for good reason.
Yeah, I thought about the over as well for this game because, as you mentioned before, the Diamondbacks hit the ball well against the Yankees. Even the game they lost yesterday, they scored 7 runs. It wasn't like the offense didn't show up. The problem was they got torched because Judge went off against Kelly, and Kelly let a bunch of guys get on base. So the offense has been great for Arizona. Parker, I think, might struggle this time around, but I do think Erod's also not exactly the most trustworthy guy right now. He's made 11 starts with Arizona. His ERA is north of 5. He just has not been very good so far with this team, so we'll see what happens, but I don't mind the over in this game as well. Moving on to the next game, you have what's probably the best series of the weekend. You have the Dodgers taking on the Phillies. Now, for this game, you have Sasaki taking on Nola. For the actual money line, the Phillies are favored. It's arguably minus 110 apiece, but I do see the Phillies being minus 116 in a spot, but it's mostly a pick 'em at this one. For the actual over-under, I see 8.5 with slight juice to the under, but Sasaki has been a mess. Really no way around it. He has been very underwhelming so far, and we'll see how he looks in his third outing. But so far the season, 5.79 ERA, giving no length at all, providing no length at all. For Nola, he's been bad too, but he only made 1 start, 5 1/3, 5 runs against the Nationals. I'm going to ask you, though, because I really don't want to trust Sasaki. He's been that bad. He looks pretty overwhelmed at times as a young player making the transition from Japan to the United States in a big market. Does not seem like he's made the transition, I'd say, easily up to this point. So I'll go Phillies, but I recognize how good the Dodgers are. But do I want to take the over 8.5 with Nola pitching? Not really. So I think I'm going to go with the Phillies and maybe Phillies first 5, but I just feel like Sasaki right now, I can't back him because he's getting Dodger respect in terms of the pricing, but he has been a complete liability so far in the rotation.
Yeah, no, and that's fair. And in the beginning, when the lines opened up a few hours ago, I snagged the Dodgers at plus 110, and I mean at that price, I feel like you just have to.
It's
you just
the Dodgers.
It's the Dodgers, but even at minus 102. My numbers made the Dodgers a minus 115 favorite. I get it. It's fair. Sasaki hasn't looked good, but just like how we were talking about with the Padres, I feel like this is just not a spot where we want to fade more. So not Sasaki, just the offense of the Dodgers. So I'm not a huge fan of Aaron Nola, not just because he plays for the Phillies, but he didn't look good in his first start versus the Nationals. The Nationals were able to get 5 runs and 5 innings off of you. Just imagine what the Dodgers could do. Now get it. He could have a bounce back start, but Dodgers, they hit righties well. They're aggressive at the plate, second in the league in home runs. And you mentioned Sasaki. I'm interested to see how long the Dodgers let him go tomorrow. Hasn't gone past the 4th, but to be honest, even if they do yank him early, I feel, and personally, I just feel like I trust the Dodgers bullpen more than I do the Phillies in this point. So I think it should be a really good game. It's definitely going to be the series of the weekend. To your point on the total, I love the under 8.5. I think that number is too big. I made my total 8.1. So I'm going to fade Aaron Nola here, and I'm going to take the Dodgers here just based off the price, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned you're wondering how far Sasaki's going to go in this outing. I'm also questioning if he'll get demoted at some point during the course of the season because
even off that money that they spend, I know they have ungodly amount of money, but they just spent all that money on him.
I'm just wondering because it's not even about the performance at the moment, which has not been great. He's still young. He's transitioning to Major League Baseball. So it's not even about the actual on-field performance because you're assuming at some point with his stuff, he'll figure it out. It's the emotional component. I just feel like when you look that overwhelmed and your agents and your representation comes out and says, well, we were worried about playing in a big market because of the emotional aspect of it. That's probably not what you want to hear if you're the Dodgers who just paid this guy a bunch of money. And when Sasaki was considering the Dodgers and the Yankees, and then your representation complains about the big market exposure, I don't really know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
because you were only going after big markets. So I'm getting mixed signals. I'll put it that way. But I
Yeah.
just wonder if he can't figure it out, and if it seems like emotionally the stakes at play and the potential stress might be a bit too much for him. Don't you kind of have to send him down, or at least give him some time off to like try to find himself?
I think I'm gonna pump the brakes, but I agree. I
I'm
think
not saying they're
it's
going to demote him immediately.
no.
I'm
I
just
know, I
saying
know. I think you're dead on. It's not his stuff because I believe in his stuff. It's the emotional. It seems like on the mound in his 2 starts, he gets
overwhelmed.
overwhelmed and he looks frustrated up on the bump. So I would agree. Maybe throw him down. If he's still struggling towards July, send him down, get his confidence back. But yeah, the comments about the big market, all he was talking to were big market teams. It seems counterintuitive to what he wanted. And then when struggled, he said it was because of the big market. So
Yeah.
I don't understand that part.
Well, the argument is that the agency wanted to make the most money possible, but
Oh,
they
of
recognize
course.
the guy deep down might have a hard time with anxiety actually performing. I'm trying to remember who else. Did Greinke used to have that issue?
I don't remember
I thought that was like a concern about. Then again, Greinke's always been kind of a unique character anyway, so that might have
Definitely
just been
unique.
like a misunderstanding of his personality. But I think that was the thing for Greinke for a bit. At least that was the rumor about him over the years. But of course, Greinke's a future Hall of Famer, and he was able to pitch for example, the Dodgers very
Yeah.
well. So once again, I'm not saying Saki's got long-term problems, but I am wondering whether he gets demoted or whether the Dodgers give him a couple weeks off. I do wonder at some point if it does not get any better and he keeps looking this emotionally overwhelmed all the time, if they will try to give him some time off to reset.
Yeah,
That's kind
that's
of my
fair.
point. But
Yeah, that's
we'll
fair.
see. Should be a fun matchup either way for the Saturday matchup between these two teams. Moving on, though, to the next game. You have the Yankees taking on the Pirates. They're actually playing right now. The Yankees are currently up 4-1 in the 4th inning. For the actual pitching matchup in this one, you have Stroman against Falter. For the actual money line, you have the Yankees at minus 150. You have the Pirates at around plus 130. For the over-under, I see right now you can find the total at, trying to find the exact number right now.
I
Where is it?
see 8.5 and 9s.
Okay, so you see 8.5 and 9s. Okay, so I'm starting to see 9s across the board. I'll ask you for this pitching matchup because I don't really trust either guy. But
Yeah.
based on the price, I can't lay 155 with Stroman. So I guess I'm taking Falter plus money. You have any thoughts?
Yeah, I see Yankees, no free shout outs, but I see Yankees on FanDuel at minus 142, which I think is a fair price. I'm not the biggest Stroman fan. Let's just be honest. I don't think he's that good, but I think the Yankees offense is really good. And I think they're going to have a field day against Falter. Yankees hitting 314 off of lefties. And, yeah, Falter had a pretty good outing versus the Marlins, but I highly doubt he's going to have a similar showing here versus the Yankees. Yankees bats seemed to have woke up the other night. Scored 9 runs. Nice win. They have 4 today. So I don't know. And early on, it only seems like the Pirates win when Paul Skeens is on the mound. So in that case, he's not on the mound right now or tomorrow. So not the biggest Stroman fan. I do like the over 8.5. My total came out to 9.1. So I do think we'll see some runs here. I think both pitchers will give up their fair share, but minus 142, little chalky, but I do like if you want to get plus money, plus 114 I'm seeing for the run line. I think that's a fair price for the Yankees on the run line full game.
Yeah, I do want to point out, though, there are some projected thunderstorms at time of the game, so this game might actually be postponed. So keep an eye out for that. Keep an eye out for listed pitchers on your bets. There is a chance, once again, you might end up getting the game interrupted midway, and maybe they'll have to play tomorrow on Sunday a doubleheader. So keep that in mind, but there is a bad weather projected in the forecast. Moving on to the next game, you have the Cardinals taking on the Red Sox. Very high-scoring game for the first game of this series. To actually look at the score of the first game, the Red Sox finally won. The Cardinals gave it a bit of a run there. I think they had the tying run at the plate, actually, in the 9th inning, scoring 3 runs, but did fall short 13-9. For the actual pitching matchup for this game, you have what should be Fitz against Palante. Red Sox, though, are minus 125. The Cardinals are plus 105. And for the over-under in this game, I see the total being set at 8.5 or 9. Now, Fitz the relative, I'd say, unknown to the baseball casual, but he's been fine so far this season. Palante was good in the back half of last year, and he's kept it rolling here. However, seems like Boston offensively has been waking up a bit more. The Cardinals got shelled pitching-wise in the first game of the series. I question how many bullpen arms are available for this game. You can argue for both teams because both guys didn't go much distance in terms of starters, but I think I'll go with Boston here. I do think at the end of the day they will be better at Fenway than they were last year. Palante, I think's okay, but he does kind of give up some contact, and the Red Sox offense has been performing pretty well lately. So I'll go with the Red Sox here. I'm -125, but I think it'll be a high-scoring game. Don't mind the over, but I'll go with Boston here in Fenway. You have any thoughts?
Yeah, reiterate everything. I took the Red Sox money line -120, and then I do like the over 8.5. My total came out to 9.4. Nice bounce back series in general versus the Orioles for the Red Sox. Bats came out today. Didn't catch the game. That's why I kind of asked you how Walker Buehler did, but
I think he got the win, but once again, he did not really do anything.
I also thought the pitching looked better for against that Orioles series for the Red Sox as well. They do have a top 5 bullpen, and it seems like the offense, like I said, has picked up as well. They just need to cut down on strikeouts. They do strike out a lot, but I kind of like the over. The more I'm talking about this game, the more I like the over. Both pitchers, they do give up the long ball. Both hit righties extremely well. Bregman, he's starting to hit the ball well. The rookie, he's hit 2 home runs already.
Campbell's good. Campbell's a good player.
He's a very good player, and I'm glad they signed him early and didn't run into what they're running in with Devers right now, not signing that contract. So, yeah, I think we're going to see some runs here. I actually like the total better than the size. So, yeah, over 8.5. I like that.
Yeah, pointing out how good the Red Sox were offensively on Friday, the top 6 hitters in the lineup each had 2+ hits.
Yeah.
So they completely mashed. Red Sox had a bunch of guys on base the entire game. They capitalized on it, and Buehler was able to get a win despite giving up 5 runs in 5 innings. So, do want to point out that you mentioned the strikeouts. The Red Sox did only strike out 3 times on Friday.
Oh, that's good.
So, definitely a nice sign. We'll see if they can keep it going, but that's definitely encouraging moving forward. Moving on to the next game, you have the Orioles taking on the Royals. Now, for this game, you have a pitching matchup between Sagano and Wacha. For the money line here, the Royals are -115. The Orioles are -105. The over-under is set at 8 flat. Now, Sagano in his first MLB start was okay. Did he get the loss? But I thought he pitched okay. Ended up going 4 innings, 2 runs, so not much distance. But once again, he did not get shelled. Wacha, though, was good in his first outing. He ended up getting the loss as well, but he only gave up 1 run in 4 innings. Both guys did not go much length. Wacha, though, did give up 4 hits, and he walked 4 guys. So he did give up some base runners, but we know Wacha has been good for the Royals for the last year or so. I think the pricing's actually accurate for this one. Sagano and Wacha, though, did not go much distance. So it might come down to how much you actually trust both bullpens for this matchup. But I think I'll go with Wacha. I just have a bigger sample with him. Sagano's made 1 MLB start, and he was okay, not great. I question if Baltimore will let him go distance. We'll see what happens, but I'm going to go with the Royals here, -115. Yes, they have not been good so far this season, but I do think Wacha is the better pitcher here. I'll go with the Royals to get the job done.
Yeah, I agree. Both teams not doing the best to start the year off, but my numbers did, and I agree with the lines. My numbers made them the Royals a -125 favorite here at home, even in a loss. I thought Michael Wacha was solid versus the Guardians. I hope they let him stretch out here a little longer if he's dealing. But coming back home, I think he should help this Royals team. They hit righties much better. Sagano didn't blow my socks off either in his first start versus the Blue Jays. Didn't go long, but like you said, both pitchers didn't go long. But to your point, I don't trust either bullpen, so I'm going to eliminate that. I'm going to take Wacha in the Royals' first 5 here. I do think he's a better pitcher, and like you said, more sample size, and he's been very solid with this organization. So, yeah, I'm going to take the Royals' first 5 instead of the full game.
Yep, I'm fine with that too. Moving on to the next game, you have the Rays taking on the Rangers. Now, for this one, looking at the actual pitching matchup here, you have Taj Bradley against Jacob deGrom. For the money line, the Rangers are -180, and the Rays are +150. For the over-under in this game, you have 7.5. Now, deGrom was very good in his first outing against the Red Sox. Didn't really go much distance, which was expected, but he gave up no runs in 5 innings. Then, of course, in deGrom fashion, got a no decision, but the Rangers did win the game. As for Bradley, he was good in his first outing. He wasn't as good as deGrom, but he did get the win as he ended up getting the job done there against the Rockies. But for this matchup, First glance, I like the first 5 under between these two teams. I think the both pitchers should go well here, but I cannot lay 180 with the Rangers when DeGrom's probably only going 5 innings. And I know that he was good against Boston. Boston was kind of slumping to start the year, but
Yeah.
if you're not going to go much distance, and I'm a bit skeptical of your bullpen, I don't want to lay 180. Tampa's been fine this season. They've been finding ways to manufacture runs in classic Tampa fashion. So I'll go with the Rays plus money. I think the price is massive, but I am going to go with the first 5 under as well for this game.
Yeah, I agree on the underplay, but I'm going to sprinkle half a unit on the Rangers run line plus 125. You mentioned it last week, but it was so good to see Jacob deGrom, even though he didn't felt like he was on the Mets getting that no decision. But I thought it was solid, just 2 hits in 5 innings of work, 6 strikeouts against obviously they were underperforming early on, but it's a good Red Sox lineup. And to be honest, I think the offensive numbers on the Rays, you're mentioning getting runs, I think they're a little skewed right now because of who they played. Pirates,
Yeah, the Rockies are pretty bad. Yeah.
So I don't expect them to nearly have as much success in this series versus the Rangers. DeGrom is going to deal 5-6 innings. They're probably going to pull him, and Rangers have a decent bullpen, middle of the pack. I think we see very few runs, so I do agree on the under, maybe team total under for the Rays, but coming back home, I think the Rangers should win comfortably. So plus 125, I think it's a very good price for the Rangers on the run line.
Yeah, moving on to the next game, you have the Blue Jays taking on the Mets. The Mets are right now leading 5-0 in the bottom of the 5th, bottom of the 8th, so they're probably going to end up winning, knock on wood. We'll see what happens, but either way, the point is for this game, you do have Bassett taking on Canning. The Mets are minus 125 on the money line. You have the Blue Jays at plus 105, and the over-under for this game is set at around 7.5 or 8. Bassett, former Met, so we'll see if he gets a revenge game here, right? Didn't used to be pitched for the Mets?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think Mets fans liked him too much, but he's back in Citi Field for this one. Did Mets fans like him?
You could tell by my comment.
I was going to say, I feel like most Mets fans kind of are just like, oh, yeah, he was there for like a couple years. But I do want to ask you about Canning, though, because I know he was really bad with the Angels last year. It was pretty good in his first start. So we'll see once again what happens. But for the over-under, I think 7.5 feels too low to me with Canning and Bassett. Bassett was very good in his first outing, but I do think at the end of the day, he's a guy who still gave up some base runners, gave up 8 hits in 6 innings. So the Mets might get some guys on base. Wouldn't shock me if they had some guys on the base paths constantly. Mets offense, though, kind of woke up today. And Bassett, if you did want his overall numbers with the Mets, it was actually 1 year. Ended up going a decent amount of starts, 30 starts, 3.42 ERA. So either way, a point is I think it's a decent spot for some runs here. Canning, I'm not going to buy into after one start that he pitched well in because I have seen a lot of his career and it has not been pretty. So I'll go with the over 7.5. Feels too low. The Mets I'd probably go with. I do think being in Citi Field, I think they're in a good spot to maybe sweep the series. So I'll go with the Mets, but I do think the over is worth a look.
Yeah, I'm on the over for today and the Mets. I tried to double dip and they had a home run get taken back. It was actually a foul ball, so we didn't get there with the over. But I'm going to take the Mets here. Minus 124, I think that's a very favorable price. My numbers made them a minus 140 favorite. Like you mentioned, the offense has picked up the last few games. Pete Alonso, another home run today. And yes, it was one start, but I liked what I saw from Griffin Canning. The Mets just weren't able to get him any run support. I think tomorrow will be different. Plus, Mets bullpen has looked fantastic. That is actually the best thing the Mets have looked so far. Second in the league right now. Meanwhile, you mentioned Chris Bassett. He was okay with the Mets. He had some good games. Some games he just looked terrible with. I don't trust the Blue Jays pen right now. They didn't look good today. Low revenge factor here, like you mentioned at the top. But I do think the Mets are the right side. I'll take them on the money line minus 124.
Yeah. Moving on, though, to the next game, you have the Reds taking on the Brewers. Quick congratulations to the Reds. First team to lose 3 straight games by the score of 1-0 since 1960.
Terrible.
So there you go. Scored no runs against Nestor Cortez yesterday. For the actual price and the pitching matchup here, you have Singer against the other Erod, who is not very good, to be honest. The Reds are minus 115. The Brewers are minus 105. And for the over-under, the line is currently being set at around, digging it up, at 8 flat. Now, Singer, I think, is the better pitcher here. Very good in his first outing. Rodriguez was not good, as Elvin did not look sharp at all, gave up 4 runs in 4 innings. I want to go with the Reds because I do like Singer more, but can I back a team that scored no runs in 27 straight innings? No. So I guess I talked myself into the under. You have any thoughts?
Yeah, call me fucking crazy, but I'm gonna take the over here, over 8.
Okay.
Yeah, minus 112. I'm just gonna trust my numbers. That my numbers made it in 8.9. I think it's mainly fading Elvin Rodriguez, who
He's
he
not
was
good.
to be politely, yeah, he was not good. Couldn't even go 5 innings. And I think this could be a good spot for the Reds offense, who, like you mentioned, since 1960, they haven't put up they laid 3 goose eggs in a row. So that's fucking crazy. I don't expect that to continue. And the Brewers bullpen has been terrible. So I know picking it over in a game where the Reds right now sounds crazy, but I just can't back Elvin Rodriguez right now and that bullpen. So I'm gonna take the over, but I agree with you as well. It's kind of hard where I kind of like the over, but I also made the Reds a minus 120 favorite. So I do, just because I think Brady Singer is the better pitcher. So maybe first 5, but I don't know. This is not one of my games I'm running to the window with, honestly.
No, I get that. Same here, but that's kind of where I'm at for this
Yeah.
one. Not a game I'm really going to bet, but I
Yeah.
don't think Elvin's that good. So
No.
there you go. Moving on to the next game. You have the Marlins taking on the Braves. You have Quantrill taking on Smith Schuster, I believe. Is that a pronounce it?
Yeah.
I
H.A.
thought that
Smith
was.
Schuster. Yeah.
That's what I thought. Okay, cool. Either way, though, point is the Braves are a massive favorite. They're around minus 225. For the Marlins, you have plus 185, and for the run line, the Braves are around plus 110, give or take, plus 105. For the actual over under in this game, you have the line being set at around 8.5 or 8. Well, I mean, the Braves are still looking for their first win. Tani had the walk-off, but to be fair, they did face off against the Padres and the Dodgers, so you can argue that they are overdue for a nice series destruction against a bad team by comparison. So maybe the Marlins get destroyed this weekend. We'll see what happens. But I'm not a Quantrill guy. I don't think anybody is a Quantrill guy. Smith Schuster, I think's okay. I don't think he's great, but I'll go Braves minus 1.5 here. Yes, they're winless, but I'm really not a Quantrill guy, and the Mets destroyed him in his first start of the season. So give me the Braves to bounce back. I think a lot of it might be schedule-based, just based on who they faced off against in the first 2 series of the season. Miami is not nearly, once again, as talented offensively and pitching-wise as the Padres and the Dodgers. Give me Smith Schuster minus 1.5.
Yeah, the Braves have to get their first win, right? I mean, I just don't know if I could confidently back them at this price. Minus 210 I'm seeing. That's crazy. I'd rather back to total and take the over 8 at minus 115. My total came out to 8.7. Yeah, breaking news. Cal Quantrill is still bad. And yeah, I am not a fan of him either. Gonna fade him in this spot. Maybe look towards a Braves team total over. The Mets can get 6 runs in 4 innings. I think the Braves can get a few of their own as well. And I also think the Marlins could get a few runs as well off AJ Smith Schuster. He's okay. I think you said it perfectly. He's okay. He's not good. He's not bad, but the Marlins, they've been a feisty club to start the year as well. So I do think they'll be able to battle the Braves and get a few runs of their own. So gonna stay away from a side. I get your angle trying to get plus money, and I do think this, is a nice scheduling spot for them, but I'd rather back the over. So yeah, over 8 for me.
Yeah, I'm with you on the over for this one as well. Moving on to the next game, you have a matchup between the. Oh, I actually got to change this because they are not technically Oakland anymore.
Sacramento.
So, yeah, they're Sacramento. So now they are officially ATH instead of OAK. But you have the Athletics taking on the Rockies. I know that Adam and I like the first 5 under today. That actually just got there. They're tied 2-2 into the 6th inning. So I'll see what happens. But for the pitching matchup in this one, between Sears and Marquez. Marquez was very good, actually, in his first outing, and Sears looked pretty good, too. For the money line here, you have the A's at minus 115, the Rockies at minus 105, and the over-under in this one is set at around about 9.5 or 9 for this one. So, yeah, I feel like this game is pretty spot on in terms of pricing. I think I'll go with the A's because at least their bullpen can be competent. And I haven't seen any of that from the Rockies, of the worst bullpen ERA in the league. So Marquez was good. Doesn't really go any length because he is coming back off injury. He has not pitched that much over the last year or two. So he was good against Philly, but I don't see him going more than 5 in this game, or 5 and maybe a couple of outs. But if 6 is your ceiling and you have to worry about this bullpen for 3 innings, good luck to you. I'll go with Oakland on the money. I'll go with the A's on the money line.
We're
thoughts?
gonna say that a lot
I
this
know.
season. It's
You have
all
any
good.
thoughts?
Yeah, 2 bad teams going in this game, but I do think the A's are better. They should win this game. My numbers made them a -125 favorite, so -115. I think it's a very fair price. I thought JP Sears was fine versus the Mariners last week. Outside of the home run that he gave up, I thought he did a really good job. And honestly, you mentioned Marquez. He was actually really good against the Phillies. And even if he has another good start, which he could at home, you know, we both don't trust that bullpen to keep any type of lead. So right now, I am just biding my time, waiting until Ryan Falter is out of this game, and then they blow this game. So I think JP Sears will do a good job limiting the Rockies' bats tomorrow. It's going to be a cold day in Denver, around like 44, 42. I was checking the weather, so going to be another cold game. So I think the total might be a little high, if I'm being honest. So maybe another first 5 under. But yeah, I like the A's here straight up -115.
Yeah, moving on to the next game. You have the Mariners taking on the Giants. They're tied right now 3-3 early on. Bunch of runs so far in that game as they have 6 runs in 3 innings. So Verlander got pulled already. Not a good sign for the Giants. So they might be burning the entire bullpen. Both teams might, because the Mariners, I don't know if you know this. Do you know who's pitching today for Seattle?
No. Who was it?
It was the other Luis Castillo.
Oh, nice.
They have 2 Luis Castillos on the same rotation. So this is
crazy.
Luis F. Castillo who's pitching.
I'm watching the Rockies right now. They're just throwing the ball all the way around.
Wouldn't shock me. I mean,
it's like
that's
Little
Rockies
League.
baseball. But either way, point is, though, both teams, Seattle and the Giants, might be burning the entire bullpen today.
Yeah.
So if you want to go for outs on Miller and Ray, I don't mind it, but something to keep in mind. For the actual money line, the Giants are -125. The Mariners are +105. For the over-under in this one, the line's being set at around, just pulling it up right now, 7.5 or 7. First glance, I like the under in this one. Miller, though, had some, once again, I'd say noticeable splits with his home and road starts last year. So we'll see if Miller looks sharp here in what is a very pitchers-friendly ballpark. But I like the under in this matchup. I like Ray. We know he won a Cy Young a couple years ago. I think Miller's pretty good, too. I think it'll be a low-scoring game. We know that the Mariners, you never need to convince me to take an under in a Seattle game. So I'll go with the under 7.5 in this one.
Yeah, I think the under is a good play. My total came out to 7.1. But I'm going to take a shot here with the dog. My numbers actually made the Mariners a -105 favorites. Getting +105, I'm going to take the Mariners. They're tied right now. I know the Giants, they are riding high right now. They won 4 in a row. Offense is looking good, but I just think this is a spot where we can maybe catch them sleeping at the wheel. I'd rather fade the Giants versus righties as opposed to lefties, who they hit really well to start the season. So, meanwhile, the Mariners, they have hit lefties pretty well. I know Robbie Ray's a good pitcher, but maybe this Mariners offense is starting to click. And I trust Bryce Miller, much more than I do Robbie Ray. He didn't look good in his first start versus a Reds offense who kind of has been underwhelming this year, to say the least. So I'm going to take the plus price here with the dog. I'm going to take the Mariners +105.
Yeah, and just to be clear, we both definitely do not trust Bobby Miller.
No, that is another one. Yeah,
so I wanted to mention that.
Yeah.
Moving on, though, to the final game on the card. You have the Guardians taking on the Angels. For this one, you have a matchup that's actually pretty interesting because you have Bybee taking on Kochanowicz, who has been okay. I mean, I don't think we are that high on him, but he was okay against the White Sox. 6 innings, 2 runs in his first start of the season. For the money line, you have the Guardians at -145. You have the Angels at +125. For the over-under in this game, the line is being set at around 8 flat. So Bybee, after having his start to the season delayed because he had food poisoning, pitched well in his first outing. And you're looking at the Angels who can't hit. You can argue the Guardians can't hit either. So at first glance, under. I think it'll be a lower scoring game. I don't want to exactly lay this with the Guardians, but I like Bybee a lot more than the Angels rotation, basically. So Guardians probably should win, but they're 2-4. Not really sold on how they've played so far. The offense has not been great. I'll go under at 8.
Yeah, this is another game where I'm not kind of running to the window with this, but I guess I don't like anything, to be honest. My numbers made it a 7.6 right at the number.
That's technically an under, so there you go.
Yeah, and they made it a -150 favorite for the Guardians, but I don't really want to lay -144 with the Guardians right now. Tanner Bybee was really good versus the Royals, 5 shutout innings, and to be honest, on the other side, I really don't care about the 4-2 record for the Angels right now. I don't think they're a good team. I don't
They
think
played the White Sox.
Exactly. They're not a good hitting team. They're hitting 189 off righties, and I think Tanner Bybee is going to have a really great night versus this team. Angels bottom 5 bullpen. Think that the record is misleading. I think that's why we've been seeing a lot of overs in their game, overs in the last 3 games. So I think this is a good spot for the Guardians to get back in the win column, but I don't want to lay -144 if I'm being honest. So maybe look towards a Bybee pitcher prop, but that's the way I kind of would play this game.
Yeah, I agree with you. Once again, that's kind of why I pivoted to the under. I just didn't want to lay this price with the Guardians who cannot really hit. Besides that, that's going to wrap it up for every game on the Saturday card. 15 games in about 46 minutes. Not too bad. Before we get into the actual lock and dog plays for the Saturday card, do you want to remember once again that we are brought to you by Underdog Fantasy because they have a great Underdog Pick'em, which means you can pick any sport and win up to 100 times your money with your entry. You can mix and match sports, whether you want to do baseball, whether you want to do basketball, college basketball, if you want to do golf as well for the Masters. You'll have options, so don't forget to check out Underdog there to create your entry. A reminder, though, when you do sign up for your new account, use the promo code MLB SGPN. You'll especially first time deposit offer up to 1K more stats on your fantasy promo code MLB SGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm because they have a bunch of AI-backed picks and props at the home for AI picks and props. A reminder that they also have models now for MLB. And if you want to try to build your model, you can. It's easy and simple to do so. When you sign up, though, for your 7-day free trial, use the link sportsgamepodcast.com/rhythm, sportsgamepodcast.com/RITHMM. Welcome back, everyone, to the MLB Gambling Podcast. Finished going through every game on the Saturday card. Now it's time for the lock and dog picks. Dylan, I'll let you go first. What are your lock and dog plays for the show?
Yeah, so I was going to take the Rangers -1.5 at +125. I thought that was a good number with Jacob deGrom, but I'm going to take the Mariners here. I'm going to back the Mariners here on the road, and we're going to fade Robbie Ray. I think this is a good spot to fade them. I know they're riding high, but when everyone's zigging, I am going to zag. I'm going to take the Mariners +105. It's a small dog, but I do like it. And for my lock, it fucked me last time, but I'm going to take the Mets here on the money line -124. I know it's one sample size, and overall, we've seen Griffin Canning actually explode and not be really good, but he had a good outing. And I think at home, Citi Field, they have the home field advantage here. And I think the offense has been clicking last few games for the Mets. So I do think this is a good, and he just has to go 5-6 innings. And I think the bullpen has been really good for the Mets. And I think it's a nice revenge factor against Chris Bassett. So, yeah, I'm going to take the Mets as my lock -124.
Yeah, so for my lock, I think I am going to go to. Do I want to go with the Mariners game or do I want to go with another game? But I thought about a total actually. I thought of maybe doing the Rangers game first 5 under, but I am wondering if Bradley's going to destroy me for that one. I mean, there is no line technically out yet for the first 5. It should be at 4, probably juiced, but I think I'll go with the under in the Mariners and Giants game. That line's at 7.5. Bit juiced, though. You can find 7.5 at -124. I don't mind it. I think Miller's a solid pitcher. I think Ray's pretty good, too. Both guys might be forced to go distance because the relievers are being used pretty heavily today, which I'm fine with because I actually like both starters. But I'm not going to overreact to a high-scoring game today between a recent call-up and Verlander's corpse, basically. So I'm not going to overreact to, once again, the outburst today. Give me a low-scoring return to reality here with these teams. So I am going to go with the under 7.5 as my lock. For my dog, what do I want to go with for this one? I want to just quickly see if I actually can still get plus money for the run line on the Braves. I know it sounds dangerous because they're 0-7, but just hear me out. Let me just see if I could find plus money for this. So I found even money. Is that cheating or can I still do that?
No, I see even money at Caesars. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. I've done it.
Cool. So I'm going to fade Quantrill because, duh, Of course, I'll fade Quantrill. The Braves offensively have not been great recently. They did wake up a little bit in that last game against the Dodgers, but it's mostly wanting to fade Quantrill, who I just think is not exactly equipped to handle this offense. Quantrill does not really strike many guys out, does give up a ton of contact, does give up home runs as well, and the Braves are going home, so really not the actual environment you want to be in. Quantrill against the Braves batters, actively speaking, 379 batting average and a 455 on base, and the Braves do have 3 home runs against them. Or sorry, they have no, my bad. They have 0 home runs against them, but the point is they have been very effective against them in the past. I think Quantrill struggles. I think the Braves are going to be really motivated to once again dominate a weaker team after having probably the toughest schedule in baseball to start the season over the first week or so. Give me the Braves minus the 1.5 here at even money. Now, Dylan, I know that we were skipping this during the course of the week before the weekend. Let's give it a bonus play. We'll go with home run picks for the actual card here. A lot of games do have one batter you're targeting for the card. It can be a Met, so you can be a homer and pick somebody. Do you want to go Alonso again? You want to be creative? What do you want to go with?
No, why would I be creative? I'm going to take Pete Alonso here. He's been mashing the ball well, and I think going up against his old teammate, I think he's going to have a good day. And is it going to be raining here as well? Since you said thunderstorms in the Bronx.
Let me.
Or are they in Pittsburgh? They're in Pittsburgh, right?
The Yankees are in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, so I think
it should be fine in Citi Field.
Yeah, give me Pete Alonso. He's the polar bear.
He is the polar bear. That is definitely true. For mine, I think I actually am going to go back to that Braves game, just because I feel obligated to fade Quantrill as much as possible. The issue is nobody's hit a home run against him. But I think for this one, you know what? I'll go with Matt Olson. I think that it's going to be a pretty good spot for him. He's been bad to start the year. Then again, the entire Braves team has been bad. But he has had an extra base hit in 2 straight games, had a double in each of the last 2 games there against the Dodgers. Against the, once again, starting pitcher here for Miami against Quantrill. He's 3 for 6 lifetime with a double, so I do like the fact he's on base constantly against this team. But either way, a point is I think that Olsen has a good matchup. He might be able to find a good price because he's done nothing so far this season, so you might be able to buy low on him. I think it's a good spot, though. Give me Matt Olson to go deep against Quantrill on Saturday. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for this episode. Back once again for Sunday, actually, to break down the Monday card. Dylan, anything else you want to add before we end the show?
No, it's been a hell of a week, busy week, and it's a busy weekend. You got the Final Four, you got baseball, basketball, football, UFL. You big UFL guy?
No.
I
followed a little bit when it started, and then I realized that I just don't really care, and I just
it's a joke of a league, but you can make money. That's the only thing.
Oh no, you can make money. I know that Sean and Kramer have done well betting UFL in the past, but yeah, no offense to the Birmingham Stallions, I'm just not that intrigued by the league.
No, I get. Hey, but they're trying to three-peat.
I was gonna say, didn't Adrian Martinez win? Was it Adrian Martinez won, or that was the XFL?
That was the XFL.
Damn it. Okay, so I don't even know who the quarterback is.
I don't either, if I'm being honest. But
okay,
you can make
once again, you can make money on you don't know the players, but you can make money on the league. But I remember Adrian Martinez won MVP of something, but that was apparently the wrong league. So there you go.
Shout out them.
Either way,
shout out the Rock too. He owns the league.
Yeah, he owns the league, but he can't show up for opening week. Anyway, you can find him on Twitter at Rock with 2Ks24. You can find me on Twitter at Reichel Radio. Find me on the NBA show. Find me on the tennis show as well. And a reminder, you can find Dylan with his articles on the SGPN website. Till next time, good luck to all of you and all of your bets. Bye, everyone.